Thank you for joining me on Love Them Knives channel. This is LTK. What do we got here? I mean, I got this buddy, Linus. He lives in Sweden, and he likes to buy things in the U.S., and he has them sent to me. That way I can kind of gather them up and put them in one package and ship them to him. I do the little customs for him and stuff. This is the ADV Impi. Burl handles. This came in, and I had seen these knives, but I had never bought one. I mean, $300. So I thought, I'm glad you bought one, Linus. Thank you very much. I'll ship it to you in due course. That doesn't mean real quick. It doesn't mean real slow. It just says due course. I love it. So this is something else. Look at that burl handle here. And you can get rosewood and some other, is it snakeskin? I don't know. Other kinds of woods. And then, you know, different types of, I think micarta or whatever handles. But this is that burl. And these are stainless frame. This is a lockback. This is not the slip joint. You can get these in slip joint as well. Spear point. So this is not that kind of little cleaver looking one as well. Is it cool? You know, I didn't really have an opinion on this because I'd never held one. And I'd looked at them and I'm gone, you know, $300, and I've got a lot of other knives on my hit list. Wow. Now that I'm holding it, it's a chunk of change. This thing is a heavy chunk of change, but it feels really solid. I mean, like a vault. It's amazing. And I really like this bolster look, although it's, you know, what is that? I mean, it's basically the frame of the knife. I'm going, well, I guess you're not going to take it apart because I don't know how you do it. Oh, well, we got things in here, right? So there you go, number 2017. On here, 2017. And I really like the figured wood on here, that burl wood, but I like the fact that it's a lockback. And it just, the way it just, it's a real solid feel to it. You just have to feel it in your hands. But it's just a little brute. It's like a 3-inch blade, okay? Put the ruler to it. See what I'm saying? Just a tad over, like 3 1/8. Overall, with the lanyard hole, 7 5/8 overall. So it's not a real big knife. I mean, like para-military. So smaller than a para, big time. Now line up the blades. Yeah, I mean, still, put it down here. It's smaller. I mean, the para's 3 1/2 or close to a 3 1/2-inch blade. So yeah, this is smaller. And the paramilitary has a big long handle. This one does not. Okay. Oh, what was I going to, come here. Get the Mannix over here. Here's like if you had a Spyderco Mannix. Here's how. Yeah. Different. Smaller knife, but really interesting. Solid chunk of change. Where's my caliper? I got to check out this blade stock. Okay. It's like, come on. Let's find a place to land. 3 1/2 millimeters. I'm surprised it's not 4. It feels like 4. 0.139, 0.14 inch. So it's not far off. But yeah, Overall, how fat in the hand does it feel? Well, 0.53 of an inch. So that's pretty, 13.6 millimeters. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That makes good contact. I mean, some knives are thinner in the hand, like the Para 2. And blade stock looks a little heavier on the ADV. So Andre de Villiers, of course, South African. And the Impi is not skimpy. It's really a solid knife. And it's a lockback, so it's pretty solid that way. I mean, that lockback mechanism, I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. That mechanism, almost like a lockback buck knife, something like that. I mean, it's just that kind of in that tradition. And this is really seamless. Check that out. All along there. This is nice because of the way it's machined. And they integrate this lanyard hole in the back. Nice. Really nicely done. I would think here you could probably, if you were going to do this as a gift to somebody like me, so you could just LTK, you can engrave that right there. But Linus, he's greedy. He wants this knife all to himself. I don't know. I have to talk to that boy. Any case, it is so nice. It really is, seriously. This, I don't know. I mean, I worry about wooden scales. Like, is this going to be a problem? Will these get marked up? And I guess, damage to a knife just is it's a consequence of, what it comes in contact with, what you do with it, how you carry it, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's all up to you in a way. It feels pretty, pretty stable here. So, pretty tough. If I was going to get one of these, I might pass on the wood and go to a micarta. It may not scar up as much. Although, you don't have a pocket clip or anything. So you just slide this in your pocket or you slide it in this little pouch. And there's no, belt loop or anything. It just, goes in there. So you could put that in your pocket. That's a pretty good load in your pocket because of the width here that's going to add as well. Now, how much does it weigh? Oh, it feels substantial for its size. Really does. 5.6 ounces. I mean, I've seen some knives that were 9.5 inches long that were, that's, almost 160 grams. It is a chunk. It's a chunk. Wow. But, I mean, it's kind of pleasant that it's so heavy, so kind of thick and, substantial, solid, I guess is another word for it. Pretty knife. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of anything to say. I mean, there's no jimping. Does it feel comfortable in the hand? Yeah, it does. And it, my hands aren't tiny. And yeah, it feels good. Reverse grip. Yeah, feels good. I think this thing would sharpen right up. There's no recurve or anything in this blade, so there's no thumb studs. I mean, I have a fixed sharpening system, so I think this would be easy to sharpen. It's a D2 steel. Oh, I probably never got any of the paperwork shoved in front of you. See? 3-inch is a satin grind. 7.375. 3.125 inch blade, D2, spear point, satin, plain, you know, it's not serrated or anything. Wood, 5.28 ounces, and pause and read. I don't know. Really, I mean, $300 seems to be like a really big chunk of change, but I think this is one of those. This is one of those knives that. Well, we got nailed it here. This is one of those knives I think is going to last for a long, long, long time. So, yeah, I don't mind the price that much. Something like this, as opposed to, I got flipping knives too much. Something like this, as opposed to like the original Butcher that he put out, and I got one of those and then later sold it on. You know what? I think I'd prefer this. And, you know, maybe in this spear point blade instead of a Butcher cleaver type style, and the lockback instead of a slip joint. So I think Linus made some good choices here. I really like that. One thing about this knife, have you noticed it kind of is glaring? There must be a little bit of grease that shows up from that pivot every time I swing it down. In any case, is that you've got a broken line here. See how the lines of this knife are really nice and flow pretty well. But, you know, you see the back of the blade. It's always nice if that can, you know, kind of continue on down and it's an unbroken line. That kind of, to me, I don't know. It just, you know, the back of the blade just kind of disappears, and it's a total flow all the way around, as opposed to that. You know what I'm saying? It just looks like, I don't know. The line has broken, and it is what it is. But whatever. Even, you know, you're not seeing the back of the blade. Try it again. A little bit here. Just doesn't quite have the flow here. And I don't know how I mean, you know, part of it's the engineering of the lockback. Because when it is open, it's just, it flows. It really does. It's beautiful lines. I like the design. You know, you've got a little bit of a area for your fingers here and kind of up here too. Kind of just brings them all together. Really nice satin grind. Wonder if it's sharp. Wow. Ouch. Okay. Yes, it is. It is sharp. Okay. Never mind. D2 steel. But yes, that's sharp. Yeah, I mean, I like the grind. I like the look of the knife. Different kinds of wood. And, you know, I didn't look to see if this particular, the Impi, with the lockback and the spear point, if you could get it in different color micartas. But I always like that ivory micarta that they do. And they do some of their knives, some of the ADV knives with that. So, man, I don't know. Linus may have just put me on track to have to want to get one. Wow, it's a chunk of change. It's a real consideration, but it's a really nice, solid knife. And you know what? I know there's not a pocket clip, but this is a knife I think you could really class up with a lanyard. I really think a lanyard could really enhance the looks of this knife. Don't you? I mean, really? I think it would. Maybe with a bead, a real classy, like sterling silver bead, not a skull or anything, but just something really classy. I think it'd be really nice. And you could just put it in your pocket and the lanyard lay over the outside of your pocket. You can pull it out that way. I know it's over 5 ounces heavy, but so it's not for super light carry, that's for sure. Otherwise, hey, you know what? The action on this really feels good. And it's centered up really nicely. Not much room in the channel there. It better be centered, right? Whew. It's taking it all up. Like it though. Really like the design. There's something about this knife. The design is just so nice. It flows, especially when it's open. Yeah, pretty knife. Hey, I'm going to leave you to it. I've just been admiring this knife. It's just, yeah. Got to get my hands off it. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you, Linus, for letting me put it on my channel. You know what we do around here. Yes, we do. We love them knives, so stay sharp.